Good afternoon, everyone here.
Good afternoon.
All right, thank you so much.
I'm Jean-Baptiste Nzamwita with the registration number 223003952. I'm in the group number 5 in MBE year 3, discussing different questions provided in this curriculum module. Each member has a question to discuss, but collaboratively working together as a group. This is time for presentation and explaining what we found during the research, reading the materials provided, and the other resources available to us. Now I'm talking about question number 1, which is for practical examples describing characteristics of curriculum and how runner-centeredness and flexible curriculum contribute to achieving overall educational goals. Now, curriculum, it is appropriate, a plan or a program of study that is designed by educators to achieve educational goals. This curriculum is characterized with different characteristics as follows. 1. Goal-oriented, continuous, dynamic and evolving, runner-centered, comprehensive, and involving multiple stakeholders, and also it is structured. Yes.
These characteristics, looking their brief description, goal-oriented curriculum has aims, objectives to achieve, means what the learner has to learn and achieve at the end of program of study. For learner-centeredness, the curriculum is designed with the focus of need, interest and ability of learner to make learning relevant and coherent. Comprehensive curriculum is designed to acquire the learner with a huge skills, knowledge, attitude and values for holistic development, personal, social and national development. Flexible curriculum is designed so that it is easy to adjust about the different learning styles, teaching styles, learning environment and student needs. For structure, the curriculum is logically structured. It is well prepared, it is well ordered so that education follows the coherent means from simple to complex, but making sure that it is well equipped to the learner. Culturally relevant. It does not despite the cultural norms and values, but it is designed so that the learner will learn the module, but reflecting about the cultural norms, values, and behavior. Involving multiple stakeholders. Education cannot be achieved and be effective if one person carries the whole role, meaning that it should be there that many stakeholders, many partners, teachers, students, readers, and community, also non-government organizations who are contributing together, putting their efforts, making the education meaningful. For this continuous, as we said, curriculum is designed and implemented, but there is what we call ongoing planning, updating, making sure that learning and structure is on response to the technology advancement and another societal changes. Now about the contribution of learner-centeredness and flexible curriculum to achieve educational goals. 1. Contribution for learner-centered. As we said that curriculum is about learner-centered, meaning focuses on the needs, interest and ability of learners. This ensures that learning is meaningful for all learners with their ability, meaning that it is inclusive. It supports inclusive education. Also because the learners are learning with doing, participating in activity that prepared by teacher, involving that students will put their efforts, will put their hands on activities, making sure they are familiar with the things they are learning, meaning that it will increase engagement and motivation among learners. About contribution of flexible, not aesthetic, not something that is there to be strict, but changing, adjusting, making sure that it is accommodating various manner. Means this will allow innovation and creativity. If technology is advancing, innovate. And new things should be added. Learning methods, teaching methods, and assessments. Those are contribution of flexible and learner-centered. Curriculum should be flexible, should allow learning difference, individual differences, and inclusive education, and also ensure that education quality is improving and accommodating all learners to make learning and education meaningful and relevant. Thank you so much for this. Let me invite another member to continue the question number 2 and number 3 up to number 10 as you are 10 members. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. My name is Alice Uwamahoro with registration number 223008623. And I'm going to present about the core elements of curriculum and how those elements work together to enhance effective learning and teaching. In curriculum, we have different elements which include aims, goals, objectives, content, learning experience, and assessment methods. And in those elements, they are subdivided into two parts, the intent ones and the action ones. Those intent elements shows where we are going, and the action ones shows how we get there. In the intent part, we have aims, goals, and objectives. The aims, they are the long-term visions. The long-term visions that aims to show what the learning and the teaching system aims to do. For example, it's fostering how the literate citizens who can critically analyze the global challenge from the learning and the teaching systems. The goals, they show the broad aims of the institution or specific to a certain subject target. They outline what specific school level or program intends to achieve at a certain time.
Okay.
About objectives are the specific, measurable, attainable, and time-bound of what the students should know or should understand and be able to do at the end of a single unit or a lesson. Those are the ones that are in intent. Then about the action, we have content, we have learning experience, and assessment methods. For the content just outlines the subject matter or the facts or concepts, those theories that are to be taught to the learners. It is the raw material that help the student to achieve the designed objectives. Learning experience, they are those instructional methods or processes or activities or interactions that are designed by the teacher to engage the learners with that content. Then assessment methods, they are the tools or techniques that are used to assess whether learning have occurred. It is the evidence that learning and teaching have occurred. It checks the understandings and what the learners have acquired from the content that delivered. Those are the main core elements of curriculum. Then we are going to see how those elements work together to enhance the effective learning and the teaching. The relationship between those elements, first, objectives drive the content selection. For a given objectives, it is the one that design which content to be prepared so that to achieve those objectives. Then the content dictates the learning experience. The nature or the type of the content is the one which align or which prepare how the methods or practices or the theories to be designed. Then those learning experience also prepares students for assessment, because we have seen that learning experience are those practices, those theories, those are the ones that prepare the learners for the assessment to be taken, to be assessed, to show that the learning and the teaching have occurred. Then assessment validates and defines objectives. After assessing the learners, it shows that the results of that assessment shows that the objectives aimed to be achieved have been achieved or failed. So you see that those elements working together shows that what to be learned, what aimed to be achieved, how it is achieved, and after how do we assess if the aims or objectives we had have been achieved. So this is what I have found about the elements of curriculum and how those elements work together to enhance effective teaching and learning. Thank you so much.
I'm called Marie Louise Wamaya with leg number 223-018-64-3. I'm going to talk about how teacher can design, implement a lesson by integrating formal, informal, and hidden curriculum, and how do they impact student learning and behaviors. Now, when a teacher stands in front of the class, the learner do not just learn from the textbook. They actually learn from the three important things at the same time: formal, informal, and hidden. In short, let's start by talking about how do that types of curriculum differ. When we say formal curriculum, it is official lesson plan and the textbook. For example, teaching mathematics lesson on percentage and data collection. Informal curriculum is learning that takes place outside the regular classroom hour. For example, school club, sports, and also voluntary support or project. Hidden curriculum, those are unspoken lessons. Students learning them just by watching how teacher behave, and also how others treat others, or how the class is set up. Now, by looking on those kinds of curriculum, how do they differ? We are going to talk about how a teacher can apply them, how a teacher can integrate them in a lesson plan. As you know, lesson plan has 5 important parts. It has engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. In that phases of a lesson, teacher can integrate those 3 kinds of curriculum: formal, informal, and hidden. In engage and explore phase, where a teacher distribute a real-world problem to a student and separate learners into groups according to their difficulties, and those who struggle with those with strength or strong abilities in the lesson. The learner can learn each other in that groups. In engage and explore phase, it's where the teacher can apply formal and informal. In formal, students can collect the data for their math lesson, while in informal, in hidden curriculum, in that phase, teacher put learners together and also teach them how everyone value another, and also learner feel they belong in the group. While in explain and elaborate phase, the students come back in the lesson and the teacher explain the concept on how they can calculate percentage. In that phase, teacher can apply formal and informal. In formal, students learn how to calculate percentage. while in informal part, listening connect directly to voluntary school clubs, encouraging students to become a good citizen. In evaluation and reflection, it is where we can apply those kinds of the curriculum. We can apply there formal, informal, and hidden, because that is the last part of the lesson where a teacher conclude and end the lesson. Teacher can help a student to pick up any remaining chalks or papers on the floor and ask learner to calculate the percentage of that papers or chalk on the floor. Hidden curriculum in this part can be applied by cleaning the floor with the student. The teacher shows that no work is dirty or broke anymore. When we want to know how those kinds of curriculum can impact student learning and behaviors. Those kinds of curriculum can impact the student learning as the student get better understanding. Are we together? Yes. Can impact the student learning where the student get better understanding of the concept. When the student know the concept well, understand the subject, they can use those knowledge in solving real-world problems. And also, it can impact student behaviors. For example, your values. Students learn good behaviors by watching others, by watching how teacher behave, by watching how other people treat others. And also, students can learn.
Good evening, my name is Chris Mohire with leg number 22 30 19 760. I'm going to talk about hierarchical and functional relationship between different curriculum documents from National Curriculum Framework to Classroom Lesson Plan and how work together to promote learnings. First of all, you think of a curriculum as or like building a house. You can't buy a brick and go starting without master blueprint, architectural drawing, and the construction schedule. The last one we have their task activities. In education, these levels work together to ensure that what students learn in a classroom fits to bigger picture of national goals. The number one is curriculum framework. This highest level document, it is created by Ministry of Education. It highlights the values, visions for all students national-wide. It dictates why and what education is all about. The next one is subject syllabus. This one broke down specific subjects like mathematics, science, and history for specific subject targets. It ensured that fourth grade math teacher in one region teach the same content in fourth grade of another teacher in another city. For example, here you can meet the national goal of data literacy, like the fifth grade math syllabus, explicit mandate. Students will learn how to collect data, calculate mean, median, and mode, and display result in a bar graph. The third level is the scheme of work.
Yes.
Scheme of work, this is a school level or district level document that takes the syllabus and map into a closed school year or term. It breaks the year into weeks and assigns the topics to them. It prevents the teacher from running out of time. this, if syllabus says you have to teach 20 topics, the scheme of work ensures that you don't spend much time of the next or the first few topics, and you go to the next one if you have run out of times. And then the fourth one is unity plan, or which can be also called a room design. This is a plan for the specific block of learning centered on single term or a big idea. The relationship it has, it connects the timeline of the school scheme of work with actual classroom activities and assessment. It answers, how will we know that students actually learn this specific topic before we move on next topics. The last one is a lesson plan. Lesson plan is like a day bricklaying. This is the most detailed and practical document. It is teachers' day, single 40 minutes for classrooms. The relationship it has, this is where the teacher shows the activity of the teacher and learners, what they do and what material are needed for learning. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, sir.
My name is Omar Julien with direct number 22 30 26 45 3. So I'm going to talk about discuss with the health life experience, philosophical, historical, sociological foundation of the curriculum, how can influence the curriculum development and the way of shaping the content, learning experience, and even assessment method. So let me discuss about the foundation of the curriculum. About the foundation of curriculum, I'm going to start about the philosophical. If we say the philosophical foundation, we can focus on the belief and even the values that can guide in education. About the philosophical, we have the form. We have the idealism, we have the realism, pragmatism, and even essentialism. So, about the philosophical foundation, can the guide about the problem solving and even the practical work rather than focus on the memorization. Let me shift the second foundation of curriculum. We have about the historical foundation. About the historical foundation, help the curriculum develop and even understand the education, how can change the over time. This prevents the education from repeating outdated ideas and help them to look successful past practices. The third one is about sociological foundation. For the sociological foundation, we can talk about how the society can affect the curriculum development. For the development of curriculum, we focus on what the social needs. For the social needs, we can also focus on how the problem can be solved in the society. And even I say about how the social promotes the culture and even the values. Even the sociological foundation encourages the social change. So let me shift to the fourth one, the psychological foundation. About the psychological foundation, there is the different theory that can focus how the learners develop in the critical thinking, even in the level of the mental abilities. Let me start about the cognitive theory for the Jean Piaget. The cognitive theory develops how the learners can improve in their critical thinking. And even you have the constructivism for Lev Vygotsky. Lev Vygotsky said that how the student can contract their knowledge based on the experience. And even let me talk about the behavioralism. For the behavioralism, every learners can be influenced based on the reinforcement. So, in the summary, I'm going to conclude those the foundation of the curriculum. The first one you have the philosophical, the second one you have the historical, and even sociological. Then the last one is psychological foundation. Those the foundation of the curriculum have the importance to guide or to improve the curriculum development as you talked above. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Hello everyone.
Hello.
I'm Dusaimana Delphine with registration number 223026899. I'm going to present question number 6, which is to discuss the extent to which phase of curriculum development along with the process of curriculum implementation and evaluation work together to ensure the effectiveness and continuous improvement of an education program. Here we are going to talk about first on phases of curriculum development. We have 4 main phases of curriculum development. The first one is curriculum planning. The second one is curriculum design. The third one is curriculum implementation. The fourth one is curriculum evaluation. Let's start with the first one. For curriculum planning, we have 2 main points. We are going to talk about for need assessment. This phase identifies the need of learners and community using survey, interview, and observation. The second one is goal setting. Here, set clear goal, measurable according to the learner's need. The second phase of curriculum development is curriculum design. In curriculum design, teacher and planner prepare content, teaching methods, and assessment methods. For curriculum implementation, the curriculum is put into action in school. Here, teacher teaches lessons, students participate, and learning resources are used. Let's move on curriculum evaluation. The curriculum is checked to see if it is effective. People examine student performance and learning outcomes. Let's talk about revision. Here on revision, weak parts of curriculum are collected and improved based on evaluation results. Now, how implementation and evaluation work together. For implementation, this is the process of putting the curriculum into practices in the classroom. Teacher teach and student learn using the planned curriculum. For evaluation is to check whether students achieved the learning objective. It helps to identify the strengths and weakness of the curriculum. For feedback loop, the results from evaluation are used to improve and revise the curriculum. This helps the curriculum meet changing learners and society needs. Let's move on ensuring the effectiveness and continuous improvement. The first one is argument. In argument, you see that goals, teaching method, and assessment must work together. This means that what students learn, how teachers teach, and how students test it should do match. For adaptability, checking the curriculum helps people to identify problems quickly and make changes. For stakeholders' involvement, teachers, students, school administrator, and the community give idea and opinion to improve the curriculum. The last one is sustainability. Continuous revision helps the curriculum remain effective. As conclusion, phase of curriculum development, 4 continuous cycle and planning, action and reflection. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you, Madam.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening, Miss.
My name is Soranjwa Maria. My registration number 22301679. I'm going to discuss about question number 7. Says that to describe the process and the dynamics of curriculum implementation, including teacher preparedness, learner characteristics, school environment, stakeholders, and resource availability. Firstly, we know that curriculum implementation is the process of putting into practice the planned curriculum. Yes? Now, first, starting from teacher preparedness, in order to implement the curriculum or to put into practice the planned curriculum, we have to make teacher preparedness, where we have to look for professional competence of teacher, where we look for the ability of teacher to implement the curriculum. Yes? The second one, the attitudes and the motivation. Teacher should be motivated in order to implement or to get preparedness for implementing the planned curriculum. Another one is continuous professional development. We know that CPD is very important for teacher, where they trained how to implement different curriculum that they have planned. The last one for teacher preparedness is instructional planning. If teachers are probably trained or unsupported, curriculum delivery becomes effective regardless of how well the curriculum is designed. As we know, teacher is the one or the first to implement the planned curriculum. If this fails, the implementation of curriculum will also fail. The second one, let's go on resource availability. In order to implement the curriculum design of the curriculum into practice,
we have to look for the resources which are available in order to support the implementation of the curriculum. The first one, there are physical resources. For example, we can't implement the curriculum without schools or classrooms, without desks, without chalkboard, without textbook, whatever and ever. Another one are instructional materials. Others are financial resources to support the teaching and learning activities. Others are human resources which are very crucial, where the qualified teachers, support staff, counselors, and administrators should be contribute to effective implementation. The third one, I'm going to move on, learner characteristics. As we know, learners are the one to learn. To mean that in order to implement the curriculum, we should look on learners, where we have to know that learners learn in different ways and in different situations. They have different ability of levels and learning style. So that in order to implement the curriculum, we should include all different methods for teaching that will support all learners in order to satisfy the learner individual differences. Another one is the motivation and the attitudes. Learners also should be motivated to learn, and they should be helped to develop different positive attitudes toward their learning. Another one is the language and the cultural background, special needs. In order to implement the curriculum, we should look for the needs of learners, what learners they need in their learning in order to implement the curriculum. Effective curriculum implementation therefore requires the learner-centeredness approach that addresses these differences. Let's move on. School environment. In order to implement the curriculum, we should look on the school environment, where the teaching and learning activity should take place. What is the key characteristics of appropriate or effective learning environment? Leadership and management. Another one is school culture. In order to implement the curriculum, we have to look on the culture of the school so that the curriculum should be implemented well. Another one is class size, subject and discipline, and time allocation. The last one is stakeholder involvement. Stakeholder involvement also is crucial in the implementation of curriculum. As we know, the stakeholders are the other supportive that take part in the implementation of curriculum, like parents and guidelines, school administrators, government and education, non-governmental organization, and others. Collaboration among stakeholders promotes shared responsibility and enhance the relevance and the sustainability of curriculum delivery. Then the interaction of the factors. The factors do not operate independently. Teacher preparedness cannot work independently. Learner characteristics should not work independently, or stakeholders should not work independently, but all the one fulfill one another. Wow. They interact. Good. As a conclusion, effective curriculum implementation depends on the coordination among those.
Yes.
Teacher preparedness, learner characteristics, learner
And the collaboration.
teaching environment and the involvement of the stakeholders. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Kishimana Rina with 22 30 23 95 6. I'm going to talk about how key curriculum development and implementation model can be applied to analyze and compare curriculum at national, regional, and international level, and what insight can be done from comparison. We have three models. First one, tailoration. It focuses on the end of goal and object, how to teach them and test them. Second one is Stenhouse process models. It focuses on learning journals. It prioritizes classroom discussion, critical thinking, teacher freedom rather than final exam. We have three levels. First one, national levels, countries versus countries. How it can tailor models, look at countries like South Korea. Their national curricula are higher goal oriented and exam driven. And how to apply Stenhouse model at Finland. Their national curriculum focus on the process of learning, student well-being, and individual growth without standardized test. Comparison between Taylor and the Stenhouse system. Taylor model focus on national performance metric, while Stenhouse system focus on student-centered experience. Second level is the regional levels, group of neighboring countries. For example, a Europe Union and East African community harmonized education. How it can apply? By using cycle model like Wheeler model, there's a regional constant adjust their curriculum so degrees are recognized across the borders. The comparison, this shows how neighboring national collaboration to match economic growth and allow students to move free to work. The last level is the international levels. International levels, it focuses on global programs. For example, comparing international to traditional national system. How it applied, the use process-driven model, its value, global citizenship, inquiry, and critical project rather than rote memorization. Comparison, it shifts from serving local national interest to creating global competition of citizens. The last one is key insight drawn from comparison. Comparing the curriculum using this model, teacher use three major things. First one, cultural value, economic needs, and policy gap. Cultural value, it shows whether curriculum value strict discipline or create freedom. Second one, economic needs, develop national, focus on vocational objective to build intermediate workforce. Last one is policy gap. It helps countries see what they are missing. Thank you for attention.
Thank you.
Hello guys. Hello. I'm Iradukunda Maka with leg number 222013660. I'm going to talk about emerging 21st century trends such as rapid technology change, globalization, and social complexity are reshaping curriculum development, implementation, and evaluation by emphasizing skills like critical thinking, digital literacy, collaboration, and adaptability. First of all, I'm going to talk about the key trend influencing curriculum. The first one is technology integration. According to technology integration, artificial intelligence, automation, and digital tools are transforming learning environment. The second one is globalization and social complexity. Students must develop global citizenship skills, intercultural competence, multilingualism, and awareness of global challenge. The third one is 21st century skills focus, critical thinking, collaboration, communication, even problem solving are prioritized. These skills are integrated into interdisciplinary approach like STEAM, science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. The last one is equity and access. Inclusive curricula ensuring marginalized group beneficial from modern educational practice. I'm going to talk about the implication for curriculum development. Here I have three aspects. The first one is developmental, implementation, and evaluation. According to the developmental, shift from context-heavy to skills-oriented curriculum. About implementation, technology-enabled, blended, and mobile-first learning. Evaluation, data-driven, and continuous assessment. Implication for practice to developmental, design flexible competence-based frameworks. About implementation, train a teacher in digital pedagogy and adaptive methods. I'm going to talk about the challenge in implementation. Teacher preparedness require intensive training in digital tools and new pedagogical strategy. The second challenge is assessment reform. Traditional exams often fail to measure creativity or collaboration, for new models are needed. The last challenge is resources allocation. School must invest in infrastructure, device, and connectivity to support modern curricula. The fifth one is implication for improving educational practice. Personalizing learning, competence-based education, social-emotional learning, and global readiness. About the personalized learning, adaptive technology allow tailor instruction to individual student needs. The second, competence-based education focus shift from set time to mastery of skills. Social emotional learning recognized as vital for student well-being and resilience. In summary, 21st century demand curricula that are flexible, inclusive, and skills-focused. By embracing technology, global perspective, and innovation assessment, education can better prepare learner for uncertain future while ensuring equity and curricular relevance. Thank you.